YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back with the NFL Top 100 Players of 2020 voted on by the fans. This is the second episode. First episode, we went from players 100 down to 81. Now we're going 80 to 61, and we're going to keep on going on every single night until we are at number one, the number one player in the NFL. So a select group of fans helped create this list, and here are some notes on how that was actually created. So Patreon members, there is a Patreon link for the GOAT House down in the description in the comments, and some giveaway winners. Each created their own top 50 list, and that was based on the player's talent right now. So not in the past, not predicting the future, right now. Combined the list, averaged them out, and then we had a top 100 players here. Again, the last episode, we went from 100 down to 81. Now we're going to go from 80 to 61 and so on every single night. Those people that were involved in creating this list, I want to give a shout out to them. Some of them have their Twitters on here. Some just wanted their names, so I appreciate these group of people very much. Very cool, unique idea here. Really excited about continuing on with this video, this series. And these guys were a part of it, so I appreciate them very much. And we have a subscriber goal of 60K by week one of the NFL. That's coming up, so please help us get there. Going to be a close one. Full NFL coverage in season, all kinds of predictions, power rankings every single week. We got you covered like no one else. Follow that Twitter, always talking during games live and keeping you updated on the NFL and the channel. We have a podcast as well. Link in the description in the comments for anything that you need. Let's recap the first episode, which was 100 down to 81. Joe Mixon 100, Jalen Smith 99, Calais Campbell 98, Byron Jones 97, Josh Jacobs at 96, Akeem Hicks, Cortland Sutton at 94, Ronnie Hudson, Jadeveon Clowney, who's currently a free agent, Kenny Golladay at 91, Mark Andrews made it at 90, Grady Jarrett, Geno Atkins, so 2 D tackles in a row there. Justin Simmons, 87. Logan Ryan was 86, who's actually a free agent at the moment. David DeCastro, Keenan Allen, 84. 2 Bears in a row, 83 Allen Robinson, 82 Eddie Jackson. And DeMarcus Lawrence ended the episode at number 81. But now we are going to move on to the top from 80 to 61 actually here. On to the top 80. Devin McCourty comes in at number 80, the Patriots safety, a playmaker in the back end for them, and a key piece, key leader to that great secondary. He had the highest rank from this group of people of 41, and then there was obviously people that did not rank them in their top 50. I remember each of the people that that participated in this, in the making of this, made their top 50 players. They didn't write out their top 100. So somebody ranked McCourty at 41, but he averages out to rank 80 here on the top 100 players. What I like about McCourty is that he's still able to be, that much of a, dominant player in the back end at his age. You see he hasn't really lost a step in his speed mainly, which is crazy. You see him track down people, catch up to people, receivers downfield, which is crazy you think that would start to be something that's declining here at his age, but he comes in at number 80. Number 79 is going to be Brandon Graham, the pass rusher, defensive end from the Philadelphia Eagles. Somebody ranked him all the way up at 36, and then obviously he had some no ranks there in people's top 50 lists. So Brandon Graham, number 79, still going strong with the Eagles. Very, very excited to see that Eagles defensive front this year. They add Javon Hargrave, Malik Jackson's back from injury, and they'll have Graham and Barnett on the outside of them rushing the passer. So really excited to see that front there. Number 78 on the list is going to be Darius Slay. So actually another Philadelphia Eagle here, even though he was just playing with the Detroit Lions. Of course, they trade him over to the Eagles. So cornerback makes the list here. Somebody ranked him as high as 46. He also got some no ranks, which is outside the top 50. But Darius Slay, you see the difference of the Lions when they have him in and out of the game. He's got knocked out with some minor injuries in the past, but we see the giant difference. The Lions, maybe one of the weaker secondaries in football when he's off the field. And then, big play Slay's out there making the plays, making the line secondary looking a lot better. But they actually went the route of being more balanced, so now they have Okudah and Desmond Trufant. So maybe that could work out for them. A little more balance rather than Slay kind of carrying the group there. But the Eagles finally went out and got a top-tier corner. They've always had the depth. They've always had the depth, some young guys that could be good, But now is the time to stop messing around, going out and get some top-tier talent here. So Darius Slay, number 78 on the list here for the fan-voted NFL top 100 players of 2020. Number 77 is going to be Aaron Jones. See a running back pop up on the list here. A monster season for him, was a touchdown machine, was also a home run hitter. It felt like even with Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams did miss some games, but even with those talents out there, Aaron Jones, it felt like he was the key piece last year of the Packers offense and was a big reason they were able to get all the way to the NFC Championship game. It was definitely a threat for them inside and running outside, catching the ball. And yeah, again, was an absolute touchdown machine. Somebody ranked him as high as 33 on their list, so pretty cool to see that. He comes out to 77 on the list, though. Number 76 is going to be Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs is an interesting one because he got, unlike a lot of the players around the rank, the ones we've already talked about, he got ranked a lot more than those guys, but every single person that ranks Stefon Diggs seemed to rank him right around that 50 range, 48, some 49, some 50s. So 76 is what he averaged out to, but yeah, a lot compared to the other guys. A lot of people put them on the list. On the Vikings, now moving on to the Buffalo Bills. With an interesting trade, and it's exactly what the Bills needed. They needed a true number one receiver, a home run hitting receiver. In my opinion, one of the better route runners in all of football. It seems like his footwork is getting a lot better almost day by day. Just want him to cut the drama out a little bit, but a top-tier talent that wouldn't surprise me if he can continue to get better. So, yeah, he had quite a few ranks around that range. You see 48 being the highest, and then he had some people that did not rank him in their top 50, understandable. 76 for Stefon Diggs. 75 is going to be Nick Chubb. So we've seen Aaron Jones pop up on today's episode. Now we see Nick Chubb. Somebody ranked him all the way up at 41, and then he had some not ranks. It's a little surprising, just me predicting what the fans would vote, because this has obviously nothing to do with me making picks or rankings here. I would have guessed people would have ranked him higher. I would have guessed the highest rank would have been better than 41, maybe even in the 20s. I would have guessed. That's me predicting, and I'm kind of surprised that there were actually several people that didn't rank him. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I still want Chubb's a great running back. I do want to see more. My question with him coming out of Georgia was how long would he last, because he had the injuries, sneaking up on him. But he is better than expected so far. Very impressive, tough runner and key piece to the Browns. And the new system with Stefanski running the show will feature Nick Chubb. He will get the load for sure. But I was surprised that 75 is where he ended up. 41 was the highest ranked, and that people did not rank him. I was just a little surprised. Again, not saying it's right or wrong, but he's 75 on the list. 74, another running back, ALVIN KAMARA. I think this will spark some debates here. The ALVIN KAMARA versus Nick Chubb, and maybe even throw Aaron Jones in there. But we've seen them interesting, kind of, obviously a coincidence that these two running backs that are pretty even in talent, you can debate both sides, KAMARA and Chubb, that is, they rank right next to each other, 75 and 74. KAMARA, somebody ranked him up at 44, and he had some non-ranks. Those rankings really don't surprise me because, again, this list, when these people made these lists, their top 50, it didn't really, wasn't really based on last year, wasn't based on the past. It's just right now. But everything, a collection of things and what you saw on the field obviously goes into that. And I know what's recently in everyone's head is that, yeah, he did not have a good season last year due to some injuries, him playing through injuries. So maybe that sticks with people's heads. So that's why I'm really not surprised that, maybe, yeah, his highest rank was 44, down at 74. But interesting debate between KAMARA and Chubb. Who do you think is better? So yeah, I'm sure this list will spark some good debates there in the comments or in the chat if you're watching this as it goes up. And we're going to have some more of those with some of these rankings coming up. 73 is going to be Marcus Peters. So we see another corner pop up here. Marcus Peters at number 73, and you see his highest rank at 43. I'm a big Marcus Peters guy. I'd probably rank him much better, higher than 73. Big-time playmaker back there. Pretty good duo there with him and Marlon Humphrey for the Ravens. And, I think he's still got a lot of ball left in him as well. I think one of the better playmaking corners, one of the better ones at attacking the ball, reading the quarterback's eyes, in the NFL and that aspect there. So 73 for Marcus Peters, the Ravens corner. 43 was his highest rank. 72 It's going to be Cameron Hayward, the Steelers defensive lineman. Somebody ranked him all the way up at 36, and then he had some not ranks for the people's top 50. A little surprising. I feel like almost everybody should have had him ranked perhaps, but again, it is a top 50 they're making, not a top 100. 36 was the highest rank. The combination of stopping the run and getting after the quarterback and one of those guys that he's just super consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. That's pretty high level play there and a key piece to the Steelers front and what makes, people think TJ Watt these days. That's kind of the hot name for the Steelers defense, but Cameron Hayward is what makes a lot of that possible and what goes on in that defense. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So he's 72 on the fan voted top 100 list of 2020. 71 is going to be Amari Cooper. So we see a receiver pop up. We've seen Stefon Diggs. Now Amari Cooper actually from the same draft class. That's an interesting debate for sure because, some people think one's better than the other. Both fantastic route runners, both very good with their footwork, and then some very solid hands as well. And Amari Cooper's kind of got that toe tap specialist that he adds along with that. Somebody ranked him all the way up at 34, and obviously he had some not ranks on people's top 50, but he comes in at 71. On to number 7. This is where things get interesting. We had a quarterback. Carson Wentz hits number 70. Somebody ranked him at 34 on their top 50 list. And then he had a few not ranks, of course, there. But the Eagles quarterback at 70, and it's a tough one to rank because we've seen the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl. He was about to win the MVP before the unfortunate injury. He was playing that good. Ridiculous at such a young age, so early on in his career. He was playing that good. Eagles still win the Super Bowl, though, because it's a very complete team that year. And Carson Wentz comes back. He hasn't really felt the same since to me. Obviously, he's been good, had his good and bad moments. But we still see the upside. He can kind of get back to where he's playing. So it's a tough one to rank. What do you base this on? Where do you think he's going? How much of that factors into your head when ranking? So definitely a tough one to rank. Number 70 on the list. And again, somebody ranked him all the way up at 34. So high hopes there for him, which is realistic for sure. 69 is going to be Odell Beckham Jr. So we've seen a couple receivers already pop up. Now OBJ pops up, number 69, and almost can compare to in terms of ranking to Carson Wentz in a way because it's tough to rank because we've seen Odell, arguably one of the better receivers in all of football a few years ago. Has he really played at that level? Maybe not too far off, but we all know the talent is ridiculous, and the talent is for sure there. So that's definitely why, it's understandable why he makes the list, understandable why somebody can put him all the way up at 30. But you see 30, you see not ranked, he ends up at 69. Everyone's split on him, and that's kind of how Carson Wentz was too. So interesting one here at 69 on the list. 68 is going to be Dak Prescott. So this is where things get interesting. There's always that, that huge rivalry of the Cowboys and the Eagles in the NFC East. And then you got this Dak Prescott versus Carson Wentz, both young, a lot of experience improving quarterbacks that are very solid. You always see this debate. Who is better, Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz? And the fans that were involved in this, maybe not all of them, but together say Dak Prescott is 2 spots better than Carson Wentz when talking all football players here. 68 for Dak Prescott. 33 was his high, and so obviously he had more ranking spots than Carson Wentz, more features, I guess, on people's list, but the lowest ranked obviously was not ranked, so pretty close there between the two. I think for both, I want to see both of them stay consistent because there's those wow, crazy moments, elite moments, really, moments. That doesn't make them elite in general, but you see they have the play in them. We see they have the potential, young ages, good experience already, but then they have those kind of sloppy moments. There was a stretch in the middle of the season for Carson Wentz where the Eagles were looking sloppy, and then when the Cowboys needed to clutch up. I remember the Bears game. The Bears game late last year was such a key one, and Dak just did not show up in the cold in that game. So that's what I mean by I want to see them both more consistent. But we all know that the talent is there. The talent is for sure there. 67 Another quarterback. So 3 quarterbacks today alone in this episode from 80 down to 61. Matt Ryan makes the list. Somebody ranked him all the way up at 23. And then he had a good amount of no ranks, of course, as well. 67, though, is where he's at. And, yeah, Matt Ryan, I mean, that MVP Matt Ryan was absolutely ridiculous. That was, only a few years ago, and we're talking about him in a list like this after that year being ranked in the top 5, perhaps, because he was that good. Last year, statistically, it looked really good last year. I think early in the year, I always talk about this. I think it kind of goes unnoticed. I think, it's easy to say the defense kind of blew it for the Falcons, which it kind of did. The defense was a little rough. But I think early in games, Matt Ryan really wasn't executing, which kind of kept the defense on the field a lot of the time. That was early in the year and early in games. I think second halves of the games and the year, he really started to pick it up and see the old Matt Ryan. So what does that mean? Are we going to see more of that inconsistency, more of the starting slow in games this year, or was he trending in the right direction, and that's where he's going to stick with his game at this year? So interesting to watch out for. Somebody obviously thinks very highly of him, ranking him up at 23, and it's possible he can definitely get back to playing there. It's not a reach at all. 66, going to be Kenny Clark, arguably the best nose tackle in all of football, and still at a young age here. The Packers nose tackle comes in at 66. 31 was his highest ranking, and then he had some no ranks there in the participants' top 50. But 31 was a high rank. That's a pretty high rank for him, well inside the top 50. And yeah, I think a pretty underrated player. People don't really, I guess, talk about nose tackles a lot, and that's because nose tackles are usually only involved in stopping the run. And where's today's NFL heading? It's a lot of passing game. It's more passing game than it's ever been. So for a nose tackle to make it, they have to be able to get some pressure, interior pressure. Kenny Clark does that, and that's where I think he's underrated. People think, oh, he's just a nose tackle. No, he's more than that. And he can move around a bit as well. So it's definitely a bright young talent here coming in at number 66. 65 on the list. It's going to be Richard Sherman, so another corner pops up. We've seen multiple corners today in this episode. But Richard Sherman, after a big year last year, somebody ranked him all the way up at 31. He had some no ranks. 65 is where he lands. And that brings up the debate, I guess, when ranking him or not, or how high you rank him, is, yeah, because his front seven definitely helped him a lot, but he played very, very well. And then maybe in some people's heads, they don't think he's, going to continue on with that. So it just depends on how you view things when you rank them. So I can understand why this one's kind of spread out a bit. You see highest ranked 31. There's been some no ranks, and then he ends up at 65. But a very impressive year last year for Richard Sherman. 64 on the top 100 players of 2020 voted by the fans. It's going to be David Bakhtiari. We just seen Kenny Clark pop up with the Packers. Now we see Bakhtiari of the Packers. Definitely been one of the better tackles in all of football the last several years. Highest rank was at 35. He had some no ranks. Pretty soon in this list, we're going to see a lot of guys that had actually a number for highs and lowest. So we're getting through these guys that received some no ranks. But yeah, Bakhtiari holding it down there for the Packers, protecting Rodgers on the left side of the line. Last year, I think, a very good season, but maybe not that elite season that we're used to. Let's see if we can get back to playing that. But he's at 64 on the list. 63 is going to be Demario Davis of the Saints with a crazy good season last year, not only stopping the run, but being rangy sideline to sideline and really in the passing game as well, covering downfield. But 63 on the list. Somebody ranked him as high as 31. Yeah, he was kind of one that was all over the place in terms of the rankings. There was some people that had him as high in the 30s. Some people had him barely making the list, and then he had a few not ranks as well. And that resulted in him being number 63 on the list. But a monster season last year. Let's see if he can continue. So I guess that brings up, what's in people's heads when they're making these top 50 lists. Because before last year, he was definitely good, but last year really boosted his stock. So how much do you put into that, a combination of the past, or, how much are you thinking about just last year or going forward? So that's why it's a tough list to make. But he's at 63 for this year. 62 is going to be Marlon Humphrey. So another corner. We've seen Darius Slay. We've seen Richard Sherman, Marcus Peters, and now Marcus Peters' teammates on the Ravens Marlon Humphrey. A good debate between the two corners on the same team, the teammates, on which one is better. Marlon Humphrey more the lockdown, physical corner that has some speed. Marcus Peters more the playmaking, read the quarterback type of corner. Marlon Humphrey beats out his teammate on the list, voted by fans, number 62. His highest rank was his number 44. Fun fact, he actually had a couple ranks at exactly 44. So that was very interesting. Love to see some weird things that are coincidences like that. And lowest ranked, he had some not ranks there that maybe pushed him down past that 44, a little lower than that 44, which he got 2 ranks at. 62 is where he comes at, though. I'm just so impressed by him, too, because he was almost just more of that athletic guy and with upside coming out of Alabama. Like, played very well in the SEC, which is impressive, but just athletic, used to be a track guy. Does he have much else? And he's put on tremendous strength and physicality to his game, and that's just absolutely impressive to me. And the last one on this episode, number 61, is going to be DeForest Buckner, former San Francisco 49er, now after a big trade, now on the Indianapolis Colts there, which they desperately needed a guy in the interior there. He comes in at 61. Somebody ranked him all the way up at 34, and he had some not ranks there. We'll see him. Seen him inside with Arik Armstead, inside of Nick Bosa, guys like D Ford, a lot of time playing inside just Nick Bosa there for the most part. And now he goes to the Colts, going to play with Justin Houston. So we'll see how it translates, or what the transition is like. I think if you just see a good football player, then he's going to continue to play good football, and that's what I see here in DeForest Buckner. Interior pressure will be key because we all know the Colts get an upgrade with him going in there and stopping the run. That's a given. Getting pressure is what he's actually been able to do, but that'll be what the world is kind of watching, what the Colts fan is kind of watching. Can he bring that interior pressure that they desperately need right away for them to make this the year one with Phillip Rivers? So that offense going to need some help from the defense, and that definitely steps up with a guy like DeForest Buckner. So he comes in at 61. Again, the highest rank was 34 for him, but that is it for 80 through 61. We'll take a look at the schedule, and I kind of shown the past days just so anybody's missed anything. Tuesday was the first day. We did 100 through 81, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. This recording right now included 80 through 61 here on Wednesday the 12th. Thursday we'll have 60 through 41. Friday 40 through 21. So we get through all the groups of 20. And then Saturday we go 20 to 11. And then Sunday the top 10 players in the NFL right now, 2020, decided by the fans. So that'll be very interesting. So most of these will be up during the weekdays at night. That Sunday one I'm planning for maybe in the afternoon. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated on our Twitter. But this is very exciting. This has got to be one of my favorite video ideas of all time. Love to see the fan perspectives and get everyone involved here. So more things like this definitely can be in the future. And again, those people that helped create this list, tough task for them. A lot went into this. So shout out to all these people here. Really appreciate it. Very cool to see here. But that is going to do it for the second episode here. We're going to keep on going on until we're all the way down to number 1. So very excited about that. We got plenty of predictions and rankings on the channel already. Plenty more to come. In season, the best time of the year for this channel. Full predictions every single week. Hopefully you can join us for that. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Turn notifications on. That is going to do it for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.